Go live now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's hearing. My name is Councillor Jemu, and I shall be chairing the meeting this afternoon. My colleagues, Councillor Ball and Councillor Bucklini, and I comprise of today's subcommittee hearing. Sam Kirkham, who is the clerk to the subcommittee, will be minuting the meeting. Hatton Zab is the legal advisor to the subcommittee. I am now going to introduce you to the report. You will all have received or seen the agenda pack, which is contained in the licensing officer's report with details of the application in section 1.0. To confirm, we are dealing with the application to review a premises license made by the Metropolitan Police at Costcutter, 48 The Mall, W5 3TJ. In accordance with the procedure, I shall invite the applicant to present the application, answer any questions, and call any witnesses. I will then invite those who have made representations, objections, to make the representations and answer any questions and call any witnesses. At the conclusion of the hearing of the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the committee democratic services officers, we will retire to consider our decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting and confirmed in writing within 5 working days. If the panel cannot reach a decision today, you'll be notified in writing within 5 working days of the panel's decision. Thank you all for attending. I would like those that are present and intending to speak to introduce themselves, please, if that's okay. As I've said, I am Councillor Amarjit Jemu, and I shall be panel members, please, and then we can introduce the rest.
Chair, we lost you. Your connection was breaking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realise that. Did I say it?
I think we're at introductions, aren't we, Chair? So perhaps if the applicant
Yes.
could introduce themselves, so if the police representative could identify themselves, yes, and any other representees, and followed by that, if the applicant can then confirm.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hattie.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Bruce Smith, and I of Council, and I appear on behalf of the Metropolitan Police. Here with me today is PC Bradshaw, and he'll be there to answer any further questions, but I'll be presenting the submissions of the police today.
Thank you. Who else is
Bob Deere, Licensing Enforcement and Compliance Officer, Chair.
Thank you.
Ealing Council.
Ellis Donaldson, Ealing Trading Standards Officer.
Thank you.
Mr. Panchal, representing the license holder, Mr. Ajit Singh. Mr. Ajit Singh is with me here, as you can see on the screen. I shall be doing the talking for Mr. Ajit Singh today.
Thank you. Okay, have we heard from everyone? All right. Okay, if that's the case, I've explained the procedure already. So I am now going to invite the applicant to present your application, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm aware that the committee has had sight of the agenda documents and the statements that have been produced, so I do not propose to go over these in detail, but just wish to highlight some of the main features of this application. You will have seen that the police bring this application due to what the police see as a failure to uphold the licensing objectives of the Prevention of Crime and Disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. And there are two main issues or types of incidents that we wish to draw the committee's attention to. The first being the sale of nitrous oxide, and the second being the sale and supply of high-strength beers. In relation to the sale of nitrous oxide, at the second page of PC Bradshaw's witness statement, and this is at page 16 of the hearing bundle, you'll see reference to a visit made on the 19th of May of 2023, where it was where large quantities and bottles of different sizes of nitrous oxide was found on the premises alongside balloons and bottles, which PC Bradshaw notes that this indicates, in his view, that they were there that the nitrous oxide was there as for consumption, as part of a sale for consumption of them. There was a further visit on the 18th of July where the police also found canisters, and in the police's view, this indicates a continued sale of nitrous oxide. As the committee will be aware, the sale of nitrous oxide for consumption is a criminal offence, and this is also set out in PC Bradshaw's witness statement. And at this juncture, we would like to emphasise paragraph 11.28 of the statutory guidance, as well as 2.148 of the Council's licensing policy, where, and this is from paragraph 11.28, which is that where reviews arise and the licensing authority determines that the crime prevention objective is being undermined through the premises being used to further crimes, it is expected that revocation of the license, even in the first instance, should be seriously considered. And the same is repeated in almost similar terms in paragraph 2.148 of Ealing's licensing policy. In terms of high-strength beers, the committee will be aware that condition 11 of the license provides that the premises should not stock or sell any high-strength beers or ciders, this being defined as alcohol above 5.5% in terms of alcohol volume. There's the initial visit on the 19th of May, and this is detailed in 2023, detailed on page 17 of the bundle. This is page 3 of PC Bradshaw's witness statement. On that visit, PC Bradshaw found a number of high-strength beers and ciders on display for sale. Again, in a follow-up visit on the 18th of July of 2023, there was also a number of high-strength beers in multiple varieties, and further on the third visit detailed in the witness statement on the 23rd of November 2023, and this is page 19 of the statement, PC Bradshaw notes that there is still high-strength beer for sale, and indeed the selection has expanded. So we have a clear breach of this license condition on 3 occasions, and this is despite PC Bradshaw engaging with Mr. Singh on the 19th of, this would be Mr. Parmeet Singh via telephone. I should clarify, on the 19th of May 2023. And again, I'm instructed he also spoke to Mr. Parmeet Singh by the telephone on the 18th of July 2023. I'm not sure if the committee has received it, but there was a further witness statement that was supplied by PC Bradshaw setting out some details of this engagement. But if that's not before the committee, what I just suggest is that we do have PC Bradshaw here today. So if there are any questions about what was said or anything that occurred during those conversations, PC Bradshaw will be able to answer to that. But the final point I wish to raise in my presentation is just in terms of the action open to the authority and what action the police consider the authority should take. Now the subcommittee will be aware of the different options on a review, such as the option to modify the existing license conditions, remove and exclude an existing licensable activity, remove the DPS, etc. And I just propose to briefly go through each one of those and explain why we consider revocation is the appropriate action to take. So just in terms of modifying the license conditions, as I've set out, there's already a clear condition prohibiting the sale of high-strength alcohol and beers, and this has been breached on clearly breached on 3 occasions, or found to have been breached on 3 occasions despite warning. So we consider modification of the existing conditions will not have any effect. In terms of excluding the licensable activities, well, we consider excluding alcohol as a licensing activity could have an effect, but this will effectively be very similar in effect to revocation of the license. And I'll proceed to explain why we consider that is most serious or most appropriate here. Turning to the removal of the DPS, we consider this would have limited effect in this case. First of all, Mr. Parmeet Singh, who is the person that the police has been directed to on all these occasions as the manager and appears to be acting as the manager, is not on the license in any capacity, and therefore removing the existing DPS, who first of all doesn't appear to be effectively managing or in a like de facto managing the premises, would not have any effect. Finally, turning to the suspension of the license, which is another option that is open to this committee, we consider that this does not reflect the serious nature of these breaches, one of those being the premises being involved in the furtherance of a criminal offence, and the second being the repeated selling of high-strength beer on these occasions despite warnings. And in those circumstances, we consider that revocation of the license is both appropriate and a proportionate response. And again, it is the only activity that is only action that is likely to remedy the breaches. Now, as I've said, that is all I propose to say in relation to the material you have before you. But if there are any questions, I'm free to answer them, and as is PC Bradshaw.
Okay, thank you very much. I see a hand. Was that a hand up, Councillor Bucklini? Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to confirm regarding if the shop manager, Mr. Singh, was clearly made aware that he had actually breached the licensing objectives. Just a simple confirmation from you, if he really was aware from the 19th of May, when you had visited his shop, was he aware of the breaches he had committed?
Yes, and again, I can ask PC Bradshaw to go into more detail, but I am instructed that on the 19th, over the phone, this is Mr. Parmeet Singh, not Mr. Ajit Singh, just to clarify, because Mr. Ajit Singh is the person who's on the license. However, on all the occasions, the PC Bradshaw was, when he asked to speak to the manager of the store, he was put in touch with Mr. Parmeet Singh, who we understand is Mr. Ajit's brother. Now, on the phone to Mr. Parmeet Singh, PC Bradshaw informed him, and I'm just checking my notes to make sure I get this correct, is that he went through, Mr. PC Bradshaw went through the licensing failures on the store at the store, and these are the ones that are set out in PC Bradshaw's statement, and detailing all the improvements that needed to be made, and stating that there are criminal offences being committed at the store. And PC Bradshaw ended the conversation by saying that the nitrous oxide needed to be removed and the licensing failures needed to be addressed. And informed him that he would be returning to the store and that continued failure may be grounds for review. So this is what happened on the 19th of May. And it was not until afterwards that PC Bradshaw realised that the person on the licence was Ajit, not Parmeet Singh. On the 18th of July, so this is the second visit, again, PC Bradshaw spoke to Parmeet over the phone. And on this occasion, that call was originally made by Trading Standards, not by PC Bradshaw. But PC Bradshaw spoke to Parmeet and mentioned the licensing failures, and told him that PC Bradshaw will be putting in a review of the license, as there had been little to no change in the store since he last visited.
Thank you. I've read the pack. But I just wanted to make sure that he clearly understood what was said to him and that he very well understood what the warning was.
Obviously, we can't speak to what was understood by Mr. Singh, but that is our my understanding and my instructions from this is what was said to Mr. Singh at that time, and it was this is Mr. as you said Parmeet Singh, but that is what was said.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt there. Can everybody hear everybody? Because my screen just suddenly went blank there.
Yep.
We can hear you, Chair.
Right, might be just my internet, my end, but it's only for a few seconds. Okay, thank you very much for that, Stephanie. Are there any witnesses you'd like to call? Councillor Ball, you've got your hand up?
Yeah, could I just ask a question, please?
Of course you can.
Great, thanks. So I just wondered, you may not know the answer to this, but your submission is that the premises is being used in furtherance of criminal activities, and the visits were kind of almost 9 months ago and over 6 months ago. I just wondered if you knew why it's taken so long to come for a review to come before us.
In terms of the visit, so the license, the review was put in following the third visit in November, and I'm just going to confirm the date of the review being put in. So it was so the review was put in on the 20th of December, so one month after the final visit. So the reason it was not put in immediately was in order to give the premises time to improve. So it was on the third visit when the further licensing breaches were identified. This is the November visit that the review was brought forward.
Yeah, so I guess really my question is, why was it not put to review after the second visit? Because you already got kind of repetition of offences.
Now, I am not aware of the precise reasons behind that. I know PC Bradshaw is on the call, so I might just invite him to answer it, as he would be involved in that precise decision.
Yeah,
Yes,
Councillor.
Bradshaw,
Sorry.
please come on board.
Thank you. I can certainly answer to that. Essentially, my intention was to, as you say, put in the review after that second visit. Within the Met Police, I was unfortunately abstracted into a different role, which was for several months before then being returned to licensing. It's just due to management within the police. And as you say, it should have been put in at that point. That's why I've then followed up in that third visit, and then obviously seeing the same effects. That's when I've put that in at the third stage. It was unfortunately completely outside of my control that I wasn't currently working as a police licensing officer almost immediately after that second visit. That's due to the delay.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear. Thanks.
Right. Are there any witnesses you'd like to call at this stage?
Well, I'm not sure if I follow completely, but as the PC Bradshaw is here is the police's witness. So
That's right.
there is nothing.
I have read that. Yes.
Yeah. So there's nothing, as in nothing further.
Nothing else to add. Okay.
But he is here as our witness, just to clarify.
Thank you. Okay. So, Mr. Panchal, you've got your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask a question or?
Certainly.
Yeah. Sorry, ma'am. Can I ask a question?
Yes, I said yes, you may.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Sorry, I didn't hear you. My question to Stephanie is: there were two visits, 19th of May and 18th of July. I'm not aware of the third visit that I've just heard from Bradshaw, which said there was a third visit, and the review was put in after that. There was no visit after 18th July, according to my client. Is that correct?
That's not correct. There was a third visit on the 23rd of November.
Which was when they put the notice up for the review. Am I right in saying that?
No, not according to our records. The review being submitted
in November.
In December is what I have, and that the third visit was on the 23rd of November. So this is on page 19 of the bundle, of the hearing bundle, if that is of assistance, you'll see that there is reference in the witness statement to the third visit on the 23rd of November. And it was only after this visit that the license, that the review was submitted. So there was a third visit on the 23rd of November 2023.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, ma'am. During that visit, I gather, according to what my client has been saying to me, that during that visit, the matters were in place. That's number one. And number two, during the visit of 19th and 18th July, where were the canisters found? Or displayed in the shop, or was they in the store?
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I didn't catch the first part of the question. Something about the matters being in place. Could you just repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm repeating the question. The canisters that you found, or James Bradshaw found during his visits on the 18th and 19th of July, were the canisters found displayed in the shop, or were they found in the store at the back?
Yeah, sorry. For that, on the second visit, on the 18th of July, the canisters were found in the back of the shop, and they were concealed under a number of boxes. So there was a change between the first visit, where they were clearly which were in the shop in a fridge, and where between there is a change between the first visit and the second. In the second visit, they were in the storeroom.
So they were in the storeroom, and they were not displayed for sale.
As far as we're aware, as I said, they were only found in the storeroom in the back of the shop. And it was the view taken by the police officer, which is set out in the witness statement, that the continued presence of those in the shop indicated that the sale was ongoing, but they were not on display.
And it was not in the store in the shop, but it was in the garage at the back. Am I right in saying that?
It was in. We're not. They were still found in the store, and I might just get PC Bradshaw to confirm precisely where in the store they were found. My understanding, they were in the storeroom of the store.
Yeah, certainly. So they were found in that storage area at the back. Obviously, the bits that lead me to believe that they were there for the purpose of sale and then for consumption were the fact that they were also found alongside the nozzles and the balloons, which are used for ingesting.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Penchel?
Thank you very much, Chair. Thanks.
Okay. Right, we are now going to be open to questions. In any case, are there any other questions from the responsible authorities? Okay, councillors, are there any other questions? So I'm now going to invite Mr. Penchel to present his case.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm just going to briefly put some light onto when this license was acquired and how long Mr. Ajit Singh is holding this license from. Mr. Ajit Singh has been holding this license from 2012. The shop, which is called Costcutters. There were no breaches from 2012 onwards. When Mr. Parmeet Singh Wadhwa, he was become a partner with Mr. Ajit Singh, and Mr. Ajit Singh was running the shop very well. Mr. Wadhwa was appointed the manager to run the shop, whilst Ajit Singh was acquiring the success of this business during that period. He went ahead to find more ventures and has also acquired a restaurant in the Ealing Borough, which he was concentrating there. So matters were handed over to Parmit Wadhwa to buy the goods and look at the shop, whilst Mr. Ajit Singh was in constant touch with Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa. And Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa brought these canisters in prior to 19th of May, realized later when the visits were made that they cannot be sold. So he moved those canisters, as you heard, I asked a question to Stephanie, that they're, and PC Bradshaw, that they were in the store. They were not for sale. So they were moved into the store and not for sale. They were removed out of the store. Coming back to the matters that you see, tobacco and that was found in the shop. Now, yes, we agree that there was a matter that Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa made a mistake, but Mr. Ajit Singh immediately during the visits of the trading standards and James Bradshaw and that on 18th of July made sure these matters were put into place. Those matters that were seized by the tobacco, and no more tobacco was brought into the shop from 18th of July onwards. When they came into the shop to put the posters in also for the review of the premises license, they checked the shop again, and they were asked to check the shop to see if any of these matters were there or anything was carried out. And ma'am, there was nothing in the shop. They are back to normal. Ajit Singh has now got the control of the shop very well, for which he had done before when he was not breaching the matters. So now everything is back to Mr. Ajit Singh's hands. He has also acquired the other businesses where he's now trying to put the staff into the other businesses and make sure that these matters don't get again out of hand, that Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa had made the mistake. Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa is not the license holder or the DPS of the premises. And as you've seen, all the talks going around with the responsible authorities were with Parmit Singh Wadhwa and not Mr. Ajit Singh. Mr. Ajit Singh is a responsible trader. Yes, you could say here that Mr. Ajit Singh, being a license holder at the DPS, it was his problem to look into why this Ajit Parmit Singh Wadhwa went out of the way to buy such things when Ajit Singh had instructed that he should not be. But since 18th July 2023, there were no canisters or anything found on the shop. They were in the storeroom. They were which according to me and from my knowledge, the storeroom was quite away from the shop. Ma'am, we feel that as soon as they knew that the matters required immediate attention, Mr. Ajit Singh did take things in his hand and made matters much better. We are asking the committee today that Mr. Ajit Singh has been trading since 2012. This matter just arose in 2023, which he has rectified it now. I understand from the responsible authorities that no conditions are required, they're saying in their report. But I feel that we could put a condition, that we request the committee to put the condition that all goods should be bought from AWRS registered suppliers and invoices be kept at the copies of invoices be kept at the premises for 6 months. That is one of the conditions that we are asking the committee to strengthen the license a bit. And all staff, this is a matter for the staff that has made a mistake. Parmit Singh Wadhwa was a staff. So we are saying a condition 2 to be added, that all staff to be trained and training should be recorded, which at the moment the condition isn't there. Those trainings, without training, the old staff's document should be tested. Training manual should be put up. That's what we are asking for today from the committee for the mistake. Yes, we're not going to dispute anything that the responsible authorities had on 18th of July and 19th of May. But the matter is, did we go forward and did Ajit Singh take the matter seriously And did he make sure that things were back to normal? Yes, it is. When I say normal means when he was running from 2012 to this matter that happened under Parmit Singh Wadhwa's management. He is not a license holder, or he is not DPS of the premises. So ma'am, that is what we feel. And to rectify and get these conditions on, we feel that a short suspension be put onto the premises. That is what we feel, ma'am, at this instance. Revocation is not something that we feel for this business, which has been run for quite a long time, from 2012. Mr. Ajit Singh is a good trader. Yes, his manager, Parmit Singh Wadhwa, has made a mistake, which he understands. He raises his hands up. We're not going to say that we're not disputing anything that the responsible authorities brought in. But has the matter been rectified? Yes, the matter has been rectified. And there was a test purchase also carried out on 15/9/23, and test purchase was passed. That is what I've been told. It was 10 days before the interview in November by Mr. Parmit Wadhwa's interview, and Mr. Parmit Wadhwa had an interview with the responsible authorities. That is what our presentation is, ma'am, today, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Penchal. My colleague, Councillor Baclini, has put her hand up. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Penchal, you just mentioned that Mr. Hajit had taken the shop, if I understand, from October 2023.
Sorry, ma'am.
You just mentioned the date. I didn't pick up clearly. Did you mention that he had taken responsibility back from the previous manager back in October 23?
When he got the letter on the review letter, he immediately took the matters in his hand and got it up. Yes, you're right in saying.
And when was that? Sorry, just to confirm the date, October 2023.
October 2023 onwards, yeah.
Thank you. So why didn't Mr. Hajit remove the gas canisters from the back store, knowing already the grievous situation that he was in? Why were the gas canisters still inside the premises? Let's say not in the shop, but in the storage area.
I think the canisters were removed from the. Were the canisters? Sorry, I'll just take instructions to make it absolutely clear.
Mr. Penchal, can you please let Mr. Ajit Singh answer some of this? Because he's the owner, he's the manager, he should be aware of what is happening in his premises. It is his responsibility as owner of the premises to know what is happening. So from my point of view, and I'm sure my colleagues too, it'll be helpful for us if you allow him to answer this particular question, please. Ms. Baclini, maybe you'd like to repeat your question to Mr. Ajit Singh. Thank you.
Mr. Hajit, so you have taken back your store from your from the previous manager in October, and you are fully aware of the multiple visits that had been made by the police and by the licensing of authority. And sorry, let me finish my question. So you already knew that you are in a problem, and to make sure that this problem is resolved, you needed to stop selling and having the canisters in your store. But despite that, Mr. Penchard just mentioned that you took back the store in October 2023, which is many days until the last visit. And that gave you a long time to remove the gas canisters from your store. But despite that, the gas canisters were still found in your premises. So can you please tell me why you didn't remove it?
It's a small misunderstanding. I started when the last poster guy came in and put the poster on the leaflet on the front of the shop. I started after that. It was in December, not October. Sorry about it. It was in December. And when I start visit in the premises, I make sure all my stuff, I change my stuff when this problem was happening. I changed my stuff already. And if you see any time from now, you won't find any single can of anything or anything which we're not supposed to sell it in the shop. If you see, I was starting from 2012, and when is my aware of the business, there's nothing happening like this. This happened because of, I give full authority to Mr. Pamit Wada to look after my business, and I was trying to change to the restaurant business. But now I'm visiting on a make sure on a daily basis, see what's going on, and I took all the control back in my hand.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to ask one further question.
Of course, please.
Thank you. So, Mr. Haji, despite even being, you're just mentioning that you run your business since 2012, but despite having the license since a long time, and the license clearly mentions a lot of conditions, and despite that, you disregarded the conditions, and you gave your shop to someone who didn't clearly look after your shop.
This is why I'm back in the business now, to make sure this mistake won't happen again.
Yes, but Mr. Penchard as well, like, you have a statement in front of you, and you just mentioned a date, which was October 2023, and this is quite controversial now that Mr. Singh is saying he took the shop back in December 2023. I leave it there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Stephanie, is that question relating to this one, or can we ask some other questions first?
I'm happy to wait until the councillors have asked their questions first.
If that's okay, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Mr. Panchal, I've got a couple of questions for Mr. Ajit Singh, please. Okay. Firstly, Mr. Ajit Singh, I mean, as I mentioned before, obviously, I've got a business background as well, and I completely understand the way business is meant to do. Now, as far as I understand business, it is you as the owner's responsibility to do the buying, to do the stock taking, and to make sure that the shop and the premises is run properly, whether it's a licensed premises or any other premises. Okay. So in this particular case, have you not been training your staff who've been looking after your premises?
I did in the starting, yes.
What sort of training did you offer them?
Like, make sure sell the stuff we're supposed to sell, obviously. Not to sell someone under child or any age under less than age to sell the alcohol and stuff. I explain them everything before I give them take over to the shop.
Mr. Singh, what do you understand by challenge 21? If I say to you challenge 21, what do you understand by that?
The age not to sell under 18.
Thank you, Mr. Penchal. And yet I see some witness statements where things were being sold to under 18s. So in this particular case, you said that Mr. Parmeet is no longer at this particular premises, and you've got some. Have you moved him to one of your other premises to look after somewhere else?
No, Mr. Parmeet is still there in the premises working as well. The other staff, the other one, we moved them.
Mr. Parmeet is still there. Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Ball, do you have any questions before I?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, so why was the no action taken following the first visit on the issues of high strength alcohol and sales of single cans? So, I mean, I hear what's being said in terms of the nitrous oxide being taken into the storeroom, but why was nothing done? Why were there still strengths of lager which are not permitted under the conditions of your license found in the second visit and then in the third visit?
Yeah, I didn't aware of this when they visited the premises, and they're still in there.
Sorry, I didn't actually hear that, Mr. Penchal. Could you repeat?
He said he wasn't aware that particular time. He did not become aware till the second visit was put up, and he asked Mr. Parmeet Singh to remove the alcohol that was high strength, which they were not supposed to sell.
Thank you, Mr. Penchal. Councillor Ball?
Isn't there not sure who this is a question for. Isn't there like a notice served to the owner of the property, or is it just purely handed over to whoever's in the shop? That's more of a question to.
Yeah, it was handed over from my knowledge. It was handed over to Parmit Wadhwa, and there was an interview held also by with Parmit Wadhwa rather than Ajit Singh. So the responsible authorities had an interview set up with Mr. Ajit Wadhwa. Sorry, Parmit Wadhwa.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll come back to councillors, and if you've got any other questions, do put your hand up. I'm now going to go to Stephanie.
I have two questions, the Chair.
Please ask your questions.
The first is just to follow up on the question that Councillor Ball asked. If I heard correctly, Mr. Ajit Singh said that he was not aware of the high-strength alcohol being sold until the second visit in July. My question is, if you were aware in July, why was there still high-strength alcohol being sold in November?
He did instruct Parmit Wadhwa to remove the high-strength alcohol. And I think what Mr. Ajit Wadhwa's statement was, when I asked him, he said that he was going to remove them out and trying to finish the stock that he had. But that wasn't the case that he should have been doing. He should have removed it out on Ajit Singh's instructions. Mr. Ajit Singh became more busy acquiring the restaurant business, and he did instruct him that please remove the high-strength alcohol you've been asked to. If that helps your answer.
That does help, but it doesn't. There's just two things that it doesn't explain, which you might be able to help me with. The first, it doesn't seem to explain why the selection has expanded since the July visit and the November visit. That's the first thing that would be interesting to hear your views on. And the second thing is, why did Mr. Ajit Singh not follow up and check that his instructions had been followed? And as the Chair has pointed out, it is Mr. Ajit's responsibility not just to say an instruction, but to ensure there is compliance with the instruction, especially when Mr. Parmit Singh is still involved in the premises. So those are the two things that would be helpful in relation to the question.
On regular basis from December and January, even regular basis now, we're checking it. If anybody...
Mr. Ajit Singh, can you come a little bit closer? I don't think we can hear you very clearly.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. From December and January, I'm going regular basis now. And if anybody visit now, they can see there's nothing going on. Before I told them not to sell and not to put anything on there, but I don't know why still there. I'm not aware of this.
Okay. Stephanie, did you want to ask? Sorry, Councillor Baclini, I'll come back to you in a moment. Stephanie, did you want to ask another question following up from that one?
I have a second question, but it's not following up. So if Councillor Baclini wants to follow up on that one, it'll come in after.
Thank you. Councillor Baclini?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Hajid, how often did you visit the shop since giving your shop to Mr. If I understand, is it Mr. Singh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How often did you visit the shop after you gave permission, or like after you gave the shop for Mr. Singh to manage?
Right now, I'm going 3 times a week.
Pardon?
We didn't hear you.
Right now, I'm going 2 to 3 times a week.
No, my question is, since when you handed the shop to Mr. Singh, since the date that you handed the shop to Mr. Singh, how many times have you visited the shop?
Like monthly basis.
Like once a month, twice a month? How many times?
Sometimes twice, depend.
Okay.
And you never noticed that there's like a...
Just proper clean. We can't find out something happening.
Have you noticed rough sleepers and street drinkers?
No.
Outside the shop? No?
Well, we make sure outside my shop, because this is like a busy area, we make sure my shop look clean and we can find out if something happening like this. But we never see beggars or anyone outside my shop and come and look it and buy something like this.
Thank you.
Yes, Stephanie, please.
Just a follow-up then on Councillor Baclini's question. You said that you visited the shop twice a month since July, and in none of those visits from August, September, October, and your first visit in November, in none of those you didn't check whether there was high-strength alcohol being sold, to see whether your instructions had been followed. Is that correct?
I was making sure. I was going to check in the storage and stuff. I couldn't find anything. I think maybe what they have left, small amount, there was there, but I didn't notice at that time.
You didn't notice, or you didn't check?
I didn't check it because
You didn't check whether high strength alcohol was being sold.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay, so you didn't check in any of those visits. Okay, my second question. Sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, now I'm checking it because I know exactly what they need and what they shouldn't be in my shop. So now I'm checking it.
No, okay. My second question is just in relation to you said that you temporarily let Parmeet take control of the shop while you were away until November, December time.
Basically, he was looking after the shop, but now when I find out it's not working the way I wanted him to work it, so now I'm back. I'm giving my 100% back to the business now.
But you said, and you came back you said you came back on the 20th of December, or around December. And I just want to check, were you aware that on the 20th of December, Mr. Parmeet Singh submitted a DPS variation application to have himself listed as the DPS?
Yes, I know that.
You are aware, and you supported that application, or did you support that application?
Yeah, he was applying for it. I said, yes, go for it.
Pardon?
Yeah, he was applying DPS. I'm aware of it.
You're aware of it. So I just want to check, if you could just explain where I'm a bit confused, because I understood that it was a temporary measure that he was just taking control until you were ready to come back. But then you're also saying that you took control on the same time at which your brother applied to be DPS. So that is where I'm confused.
Basically, when he said I want to apply for this, I said apply for it. It's fine for the DPS.
He was aware of the DPS application, and he did agree to say that if in case he becomes very busy on the other side of the business, it would be better for Parmeet Singh to become a DPS, and that is one of the reasons that he thought so. And he made aware to Mr. Parmeet Singh Wadhwa that matters must be cleared, and you must make sure matters do not occur again at the premises that occurred in July and in May.
Okay, I have a few follow-up questions that I notice that some of the councillors might do, so I'll defer to the councillors, and I might come in afterwards if that.
Thank you. Councillor Ball wanting to ask a question.
Yeah, just a follow-up on this, really. So did you think it was a good idea for Parmeet Singh to be DPS, to apply to be DPS, given what you were aware of in terms of the problems that had persisted while he was managing the business? What made you think that was a good idea?
Because what Mr. Ajit Singh felt that he must have now learned a lesson to make sure things have to be in place. He also made sure that Parmeet Singh Wadhwa would make sure that the matters get resolved and it doesn't happen again. And it didn't happen again because matters were taken seriously. And so he understood and had a chat with Mr. Parmeet Wadhwa that he does understand what the laws are now.
Okay, Councillor Paul, did you have another question?
Well, still struggling a bit on this. I mean, I think what we're hearing on the one hand is that you've taken control of your business and you're visiting it much more regularly and being very hands-on, and then at the same time we're saying that you approved of an application for the person who was managing it, in a bad way, to be the DPS, and so that he would have a bigger role in the business. I'm just struggling to understand both of those things being true at the same time.
Mr. Pencha?
That's something that I won't be able to answer that, but he did sit down with Mr. Parmeet Singh Wadhwa and made him understand, and he did understand that yes, the mistake that he had made, and that he rectified those mistakes. And matters that, like I said, the canisters were in the garage, but they shouldn't be there in the garage. They should have been out of the premises, and he understood that. So understanding came into force. People do change. It's not that people don't change, and he understood everything. Parmeet Wadhwa did understand. And that is why Mr. Ajit Singh felt that, okay, now he's learned a lesson from what has happened, so matters would be rectified. and that is why he went ahead. Trustworthy is another matter that Ajit Singh felt as far as the cash is concerned.
Okay.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Councillor Ball. Stephanie, did you have any?
If I may, Chair, just wondering to when did Mr. Ajit Singh sit down with Mr. Parmeet Singh and have this conversation, this serious conversation in light of the breaches? When was that conversation taking place?
Well,
Can we get Mr. Ajit Singh to answer that question, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the
Stephanie, can you ask that question again? And Mr. Ajit Singh, if you can come a bit closer so we can hear you properly, please.
Yeah, can you hear?
We can hear you now. The question is, when did you sit down with Mr. Parmeet Singh and have this serious conversation about the nature of these breaches and problems at the premises?
In November.
When in November?
In the mid of November, I think.
It was in November.
Mr. Ajit Singh, do you not like keep a diary as a businessman? Do you not like keep a diary of what's happening in your various business premises? Because you said you've got a restaurant and other premises as well. Do you not keep a diary of when you speak to various members of staff, what your conversations were? Do you not keep a record?
We do keep a diary in the restaurant, but we never keep a diary in the shop, office, and business.
Okay.
And if I may ask, I beg your pardon.
Please, Stephanie, you may.
But I can do that as well. I think it's a good idea to put a diary and put all the notes. Something happened.
I'm not talking about putting a diary in the business premises, sir. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about your own personal diary. Do you not keep a record of your communications with your members of staff, with your business associates, whatever happens at the business? I mean, surely you must keep a record. That's how you survive. That's how you remember. None of us will remember everything, every single word that is said. I myself keep a diary. Even now, I'm making notes so that I can go back to them afterwards.
Yeah.
So you don't keep a diary because obviously you've not answered the question that Stephanie was asking you as to the date, and you said mid-November.
Yeah. No, we don't keep a diary, but I will do it from now. I think it's a good idea for me to do it. And we write everything so we remember everything, what happened, when happened, and we experience.
Mr. Ajit Singh, you've been in business since 2012, he said to me. That's 11 years of business experience. And seriously, it's not showing much from what I'm listening to. But that's another matter. I'm going to, Stephanie, did you have another question?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Chair, thank you. It was just a question of why the first serious conversation you had with Mr. Parmeet Singh took place in November, in light of the breaches found in July. So again, August, September, October went by, and it was only in mid-November that you thought that you should have a conversation with Mr. Parmeet Singh about these very serious failures, including the strength of high sale alcohol, which seemed to either continue after your conversation in November. If you could just explain that, please.
Found out, when we got the leaflet on the when they put the notice on my shops.
The notice on the shop went up in I would have thought in December, given that the review was only submitted in December. So you're saying you only had the conversation after the notice went up. So the conversation happened in December?
No, I mean, real conversation when we started, and after December, this I'm coming over and taking over again because the way I want you to work is not working that way. Then we started.
Sorry, so the conversation, just to clarify, I just want to get this point straight. The conversation, the serious conversation, was that after or at the time the notice went up?
Yes.
That was. Can I come back to that?
Sorry, I think it would just be. I would be interested. I just want to get that sorted first, because I think it is relevant to the committee. Unless the chair, the council, those would like us to move on, I would like the answer to just understanding.
Please answer that. Please answer that.
Yes. When after the notice period, we came back and serious matter, I'll talk about it. And then we start, I put my real focus on the business again. It was in December after the notice period. This is why I started back again as well. When I saw the way I want you to work is not working that way, then I put my 100% back in the business.
Okay, so the serious conversation happened after the notice went up in December.
After when this happened, this is why I came back again to make sure the things work that way, the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ajit Singh. Okay, are there any other questions from councillors or anybody else?
Chair,
Chair.
Sorry.
Sorry, Chair, if I could just perhaps remind you that we still have two responsible authorities, trading standards and licensing.
That's right.
Who are yet to make their representation. I know that we went to Mr. Panchal and I didn't want to interrupt his representation, but I do feel that we need to go back and hear from Mr. Dear in his licensing capacity, and indeed Ms. Donaldson in relation to trading standards and questions we put to them.
Shall we start with Mr. Dear and then trading standards? Is that okay?
Chair, yes, thank you. Obviously, hopefully, well, I know you've all read my representation, and in it, I'd like to go to the fact that I have previously warned the shop owner about stocking high-strength beer and breaching condition 11 on the premises licence. The time, both occasions I went in there, the shop assistant, Mr. Patel, was present on both those occasions in September 2017 and February 2022. I've pointed out the offending cans of alcohol, instructed him to remove them, so much so that I actually took a can of each high-strength beer that was being illegally sold and put them on the counter and said, I want all those removed from stock. So this licensee has been told on numerous occasions, and I've never, well, when I first visit, there was 15 different types of high-strength beer. It's obvious if he's now sold all his stock since December, what his business is. It's selling high-strength beer, because there was a hell of a lot of stock when we went in July. And I'm just going to clarify a few points, really, instead of reading the whole of my statement. The non-compliant, the vapes, not sorry, the vapes, the oxide gas was actually found 10 yards away from his office, which is in the rear store, and that's where the offending items were. And they weren't just thrown in a box or taped up to dispose of. They were actually hidden behind boxes, shelving, to conceal them from the authorities. So when we went in there, thinking we don't move boxes and shelving, we wouldn't find them. Those items were on the premises. Yes, the storeroom, but it's his storeroom only. It's not 5 other shops. Also, we went into the shop, and a slight problem here, and I've got a few questions for Mr. Singh after. He's never there. I've never met the man on this today. I've always spoke to Mr. Patel, who has been there since 2017 that I know of. Is there all day from 6 in the morning, or whether it is 7 in the morning, right through. In that storeroom where we found the illegal vapes, it was locked, always locked, and never got a key. Well, one of the things that I spoke to, and I don't know what his name, he was already on the phone when I had been in the back store, was asked to come to the shop and open that store. Otherwise, the door would be forced, because the dog was indicating that there was illicit tobacco and illicit other products in there. And when we went in there, that's what we found in there, including pills, Viagra pills, that he's not a pharmacist, he shouldn't be selling them, and they're not, they're not, well, they're not from this country anyway. But that's my representation. I'll let Officer Donaldson read out her representation, and then I'll have a few questions for Mr. Singh to clarify a few points. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, you're not here.
Oh.
Sorry,
Chair.
I do apologise there.
Sorry, Chair. Before we move on to Ms. Donaldson, it may be a good opportunity if anybody wants to ask Mr. Deere any questions on his representation, so we go back to some format.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, questions to Mr. Deere, please. Stephanie? I know we have all read his report and we've now heard him as well. So thank you, Bob. It appears there are no questions for you. Thank you. There may be later, we may come back to you. But for now, I'd like to invite Ellie Donaldson, please.
Thank you, Chair. So I have only attended the premises once on the 18th of July, and as mentioned in my statement, I ended up speaking to Pamit Wadwa briefly on the phone, who is the director of the limited entity connected to the company. I would just like to essentially go over what I seized in the premises. It is towards the bottom of the third page of my representation. It says, as a result of this inspection, I used my powers and seized a total of 677 non-compliant vapes, 400 illicit cigarettes, 150 grams of hand-rolling tobacco, 15 sildenafil citrate tablets, which are unlicensed medications, also known as Viagra, and 18 nitrous oxide canisters, all of which were listed on an itemized receipt, which is on the back of my representation. I don't have much else to add due to the fact that I feel that everyone has covered all of the issues that have been highlighted quite well. But if anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Ellie. I did read your report as well, very thorough. Thank you very much. Anyone has any questions for Ms. Donaldson? Councillor Hall.
Yeah, can you just clarify the point you were making about the Pamit Singh being a director of a company that's associated with the premises?
Yes. So when I was in the premises, I always look for documentation to see if there is a limited entity connected to the business, which brought me to a company called Raj Trading Corporation. I can provide you the company number if you would like. And Pamit Wadwa is the company director. He is the sole director at the moment. And I would also like to mention that Ajit Singh has resigned as a director for that company. So he was previously linked to that company. And this is where Mr. Panchal has mentioned that I have interviewed Mr. Wadwa in regards to my own investigation.
Ms. Donaldson, could I ask you, I understand what you say, but how is that company linked? In what way? What does this company supposed to be selling to this organization, to this other business?
No. So this is it's Raj Trading Corporation trading as Costcutter.
Trading as Costcutter.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. Any questions to Ellie? Stephanie, please do.
This is just my lack of understanding in these issues. But just to clarify, is it your view then that all the the profits and all the business, everything received by Costcutter by this premises is actually going to that company that you've mentioned, the Raj Corporation company, as in they have full kind of financial control of the Costcutter? Is that your understanding of how this works?
That's the understanding that I have, but obviously I am unaware if Ajit Singh is currently an employee under that business and gets paid through that, or if it's solely under the management of Parmeet Wadhwa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Donaldson. Mr. Ajit Singh, did you want to answer any of those issues that's just been raised by Ms. Donaldson?
Sorry, no,
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr. Penchel.
No questions.
no questions, ma'am.
No questions. Okay, thank you. Are they anybody else got any questions for Ms. Donaldson? Or for Mr. Bob Deere? Okay, if that is the case, Hattie, I was going to
Yes.
ask you to come in. Thank you.
Certainly, Chair, I think we're at a stage where Miss Bruce Smith has had the opportunity to ask questions, but Mr. Deere, Miss Donaldson haven't been given that opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Singh. Maybe
Yes.
this is the time to do that.
Yes.
And indeed, if your colleagues have any questions.
Open it up to questions. Mr.
Chair,
Deere?
I have a couple, please.
Yes, you may.
Mr. Singh, is the other Mr. Singh your brother, i.e. family?
No, family friend.
So you just call him a brother because that's
So it's like we're same religion, same community. Because
okay. You said earlier that you have got rid of all the staff apart from Parmeet Singh Wadhwa. Why did you get rid of Mr. Patel when he had allegedly nothing to do with it, and you've kept Mr. Parmeet Singh Wadhwa running the shop for you?
basically, where there's one more staff which is not listening properly. I told them, like something is coming up. When they warn you not to sell something, the guy who was working in the till, he told the other guy who was on the floor.
Can you get closer to the screen, please, Mr. Singh?
Hello, yeah.
Yes, please speak.
Basically, I told the staff already, like, you have to listen properly. If somebody says something, why are you still selling it? When we notice is some guy not listening properly, so we just change the stuff to make sure this thing never happen again.
But Mr. Parmeet Singh Wadhwa wasn't listening to you either, was he?
But he is doing now, sir.
Now he is since December. Okay. You were company director of.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if as you went again in the premises to see how they're doing now than before. I would say I was really glad, if sometime any one of you got any time, any minute, even if we are here right now, if anybody go there and see what's going on, you will find a difference. Okay. Mistake happened. I apologize for that. I know something happened which I was not fully aware what happened. But now after I'm aware, there's nothing gonna happen. This is my words to you.
Okay.
I can apologize. End of the day, I can only because if something happened with my premises. Right. I can apologize for that, what happened, and I give him my words, it won't happen again.
Okay, you were a company director of Raj Trading Corporation. Is that correct?
Before,
yeah, and you ceased being a director in 2017. Is that correct?
Yes.
But Mr. Parmeet Wadhwa has been running that company.
Yes.
Since well, I think he's been in active control since 2016.
Yes.
And before, in fact, I think 2012. I think it says here he's been running that corporation company. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Singh, has he got a personal license? I take he has if he applied.
Yeah,
so why? Yeah. So why didn't he know that it's an offence to have smuggled goods on your premises under Section 144? If he's already done the course, why doesn't he know that?
I think he bought recently.
Got it recently. Okay, and he brought those illicit vapes, oversized vapes. He bought them, did he?
Yes.
Yeah. From a company that is not under the AWRS scheme. That's correct, isn't it? Mr. Pancho mentioned that you're going to start buying all your stuff from a proper wholesalers, which you obviously haven't been doing up till now. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the vapes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, just for the vapes. Okay. 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 I've got no more other questions, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dear. Miss Donaldson, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Hetty?
Chair, if your colleagues don't have any questions, I understand you're now at the stage where you're going to be hearing closing.
Summing up.
Submissions. Yes.
Okay, that's where I was at, but I needed to be sure. Thank you very much for that. Okay, right, if that's the case, I'm now going to invite Stephanie to sum up, please.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, can I just ask, and nobody's got any other questions they want to ask before we do the sum up? Okay, thank you very much. Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. What I wish to do by way of closing is just draw on a number of facts that we found out throughout the course of this meeting. The first point we wish to emphasize is that Mr. Ajit Singh has confirmed that he was not aware until the second visit in July that high-strength beer was being sold or about these breaches. So what this means is that he knew, and he confirms that he himself knew at least in July of 2023 that these breaches were occurring and that high-strength beer and alcohol was being sold. Now, the second point that we know from this meeting is that it was the only time at which Mr. Ajit Singh had a serious conversation about these issues was in December after the review had been brought. So there was no serious conversation had, no addressing or no attempt to address these issues following July, when Mr. Ajit Singh confirmed to you today that he was aware of high-strength alcohol being sold, and as the committee are aware, this high-strength alcohol was found again in November after being found on 2 previous occasions. And what we say is that this shows that Mr. Ajit Singh is not taking neither the license conditions seriously or the licensing objectives seriously. And the third point we wish to make is in relation to what was said to you today, is that Mr. Ajit Singh has been very adamant that everything has now been rectified, that if you go in now, you will not find these breaches. However, what this we say means is that it was only when this review was actually brought in December, if this action has been taken, that such strong action was taken, that a conversation was had, and also that action was taken by Mr. Ajit Singh to try to rectify these failures. And the question the police have is, what confidence can this committee have that once this review is over, if the license remains in force, that the premises will not go back to doing what it did before in terms of the provision of high-strength alcohol, and even potentially revert and go back to the provision of illegal substances such as the sale of nitrous oxide for consumption. So in short, after what we've heard today, if anything, the police remain more concerned about the activities of the premises and the attitude the premises is taking towards its licensing objectives and the licensing condition, and nothing that has been said will allay our fears. And in that sense, the police will continue to support the revocation of this license, and would invite the committee to take this approach, as we say that, particularly in light of the inconsistencies and also what the premises has confirmed to you today, that it seems that no other action will have the effect required, and that these conditions will not be taken seriously otherwise. Thank you.
The screen's frozen. Can everybody hear each other?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Chair. Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Stephanie. I heard all that. Okay, I am now going to invite Mr. Penchel to sum up.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Chair, sorry, if I may just pause you there just for a moment. Sorry, Mr. Panchal, to cut into you there. if we can perhaps get Mr. Dear and Miss Donaldson to sum up first, and then go to Mr. Panchal.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Hetty. Mr. Dear?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Obviously, very short and sweet. I totally agree what the council has said for the police. Fully support their actions in taking this review. I think this licensee has been there for 11 years on the license. So it shows how long he's been a licensee. He obviously doesn't listen to what people tell him. So I have no confidence, and I fully support the verification of this license. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Miss Donaldson?
I too agree with what Stephanie and Officer Dear have put forward. I believe that the traits displayed by the people managing this company do not meet the requirements set out. I believe that there is a lack in faith in management. We don't have the reassurances that would alleviate our worries if they were put conditions in place. So I agree with the recommendation to revoke the license.
Thank you very much. Mr. Panchal,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
your opportunity to sum up.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, I plead to the committee that revocation is not at this moment necessary, because the matters have been resolved. Matters have taken in by Mr. Ajit Singh. What I would like to say to the committee is that you heard that in 11 years he did not listen to any responsible authorities. I would not agree with that. In 11 years, from 2012 to 2023, before this matter happened, there were no breaches of the Licensing Act. There were visits made. There were underage sales carried out, and all were passed. So the shop did not have any of those problems. Yes, we agree that when Parmit Singh Wadhwa was put up, that there was matters that arose when Mr. Ajit Singh went ahead and went into other businesses that he wanted to go to. Again, Mr. Ajit Singh made sure in December or whenever to make sure the matter is resolved and the matter is taken back, and all the matters are in place now. There was a visit, as I said, mentioned to you, 10 days before a test purchase was carried out in 15/9/23, and that was passed. So matters have been resolved. Mr. Ajit Singh is now taking full control of the business that he did for when in 11 years that he ran the premises, 2012 to 2023. So there is a sign of improvement. You cannot just discard that sign of improvement totally from Mr. Ajit Singh. Yes, there was a problem that Mr. Parmit Singh Wadhwa did, and again, he is no longer a DPS or the license holder. So, ma'am, we feel that to get things in perspective, if you want, I can assure you that the two conditions that we are proposing at the moment about the AWRS register supplies and invoices to be kept at the premises for the next 6 months. We're also proposing that all staff to be trained, which does not have a condition at the present moment. And we're saying that there was an extra training carried out by Mr. Ajit Singh and any of the staffs, which is called DPS level 3. They be retrained on that. And to do that, to carry out a short suspension of a month or so, be as a punishment to the premises, be carried out rather than a revocation of the license. That is what we are proposing to the committee today, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Panchal. Thank you so much. I've just got a small question. I know we've summed up, but it's got. I just wanted to ask Mr. Ajit Singh. Mr. Parmjit Singh Wadhwa, is he a DPS holder?
No, he isn't.
He isn't. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all for your vast contributions. I know it's been a heavy afternoon for all of us, but I'm going to say that the panel is now going to retire, to deliberate together with our legal advisor and our clerk. We will recommence. It's now 14:22. It's likely to be at least 2:45 to 3 o'clock. Would that be okay? We may take slightly longer, but then we will get our clerk to contact you if that's okay.
That's okay, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. So if everybody else can close off their screen and